kind of a big day. Today I'm going hands off unless Adam just really needs me. For the most part, he's going to do all the trucking, all the loading, all the chaining. He's just going to do his thing. So let's kick back, let him work, let him learn, and we're going to move both the excavator and the tractor to the job today. We have arrived. While Adam is getting us unloaded, as y'all can see, we've got some water issues here. Dress that spot up. I did have that built up to where water could skirt along this backside, which is done and done very well. See how it's run down by my road fabric. That's a little bit of gravel. I guess that's probably from Tropical Storm Fred. I think, yeah, it looks like somebody's let their pipe get clogged. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. He's let his pipe get clogged up and the water's jumped out, and of course it's washing the driveway away a little bit. So I got to remind myself in the contract if we're taking this new driveway up that way or if we're going around this tree. I'll have to jog my memory. But that's the plan on this. Let me check the records and we'll go over it. We now have all of the equipment we are going to need, and trees that are dropping leaves like crazy. I'd like to lay this road out just kind of roughly, even though leaves are down. I'm still debating on whether I want to go around this tree or up this way. For the first part of this project, Adam's going to push this dead tree up and out of the way, and then we're going to grade out a fire pit slash sitting area. Now, folks, what we've got Adam doing, number one, I'm wanting him to practice keeping that cutting edge flat and dragging it along the grade, collecting any additional material, but I'm also letting him practice with that tilt function on that tilt grading bucket, because the grade comes up and then it flattens out where he's at. In this particular case, it's not necessary because we're going to be bringing in road bond to make them a nice little firm pad to build their fire pit area, but it's always good to practice every opportunity you have. He is actually doing really good at keeping the bottom of that cutting edge level. Really happy with his progress. He got the area rough graded in, it looks really good, and now I've got him stripping a lot of that vegetation off and throwing it back. Give us a little bit more room to work with. Now Adam's going to learn how to lay out a pad. Now that's one corner of our pad. The next corner, let's go to, let's say, just stick it right there. So now hook this one up toward the top.
All right.
Pull him tight. Excellent. Now we're going to pull our string to this stake and just hold him for a second. Let's put our little old school bubble level.
Huh.
All right, now you watch your bubble and you slide it up and down until that bubble's in the center. So you're right down on the ground, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay, hold what you got. Maybe I've got enough room to lift this end. Getting close. All right, so you know, that's pretty blame close. You know you can see your line now. You've got to cut this end down. Okay, the next phase of this project, Adam is going to take his excavator. And Adam, what you got to do is get your excavator lined up. And you want your track and your blade right alongside of this string, about that far away. We know if this string is this high off the ground, we're going to consider this our grade marker. Now up here you can see that our bubble tells us that is where the string runs to. What we want is an even amount of air below that line on each side. And that's where we find our grade. So you can either cut the ground down here, you can add dirt there, or you can take a little bit of dirt from here, cut that down a little bit, move it down there. And of course, while you're sitting in the machine, and this is something you'll learn, you can feel if you're leaning one way or another, but you've got to line that bucket up level as well. And cut it as you go.
I'm sure I will do wonderfully.
I think you will. Okay, so the first thing I'm doing is I'm hogging the biggest part of the dirt off. I'm using that line and a reference point that I'm picking out on the corner of my bucket to cut the bulk of the dirt. And now I'm tossing over here where I know it's lower and I'm going to need it. And then I'm going back with my cutting edge and I'm pulling a straight level grade using a reference point on the bucket, which for me, where I'm sitting, is here. From where I'm sitting, this appears to be the same height as this. So even though it's down a little bit,
yep.
And what I'm doing is I'm not even watching the blade. I'm just trying to keep this lined up, from my perspective, where I'm at up there, level with this. And as I see that reference point kind of bobbing up and down, I'm making my adjustments. And you're just going to keep cutting the grade all the way back.
That makes sense.
You can do this from both directions. You can start at the high side or the low side. But for what I'm wanting to do right here, I'm cutting into the low side. And that's when you cut a seat into a hillside.
Any particular reason you chose the low side?
No particular reason. Other than it's probably going to be easier for you.
Well, that's the exact opposite of what I would have thought, so that's normal.
We can always swing around and go the other way.
No, may as well keep it going.
Right on. It's all yours. is, folks. Adam got her roughed in. I did a little bit more touch up here. I believe we're going to do a 20 by 20 little fire pit area at this point. You can see that machine sitting up higher. I've got to do a final cut of that grade tomorrow. So y'all be sure to like, comment, and consider subscribing to join me and Adam on the next installment of this fun little project. We've got to finish this pad, and then we've got to do the new driveway addition. Welcome back to the Todd cast. We got the whole crew here today except for the Mac. He's in the shop getting just a few little minor things done. Got the 750, Kubota tractor, and the old excavator. In yesterday's episode, we started cutting in the seat for the fire pit area. We're letting all that dirt dry out a little bit more. In the meantime, I got Adam blowing the leaves off this area here where we're going to put in the extension to this driveway. It's going to be a super fun little project. Once he gets the leaves off, we will be able to mark off where the driveway is going to go with paint, start stripping sod, and hopefully bring in some road bond today. Now that Adam has done a spectacular job of getting rid of the leaves, we've laid off our road. It's just a little one, 10 feet wide in the straight portions, and then going through this curve, it's 12 feet wide, just big enough for a car. I'm going to demonstrate for him now how to strip most of that grass off. We're not too worried about getting all of it, because more than likely this isn't going to get used much, and grass will eventually grow in road bond. But it will maintain a solid surface. Let's get to it. We've gotten the grass stripped off the road down there. We're going to let that dirt dry out. I got bored and went ahead and halfway roughed this in a little bit more. We've got our grade stakes up and the strings pulled. I've just got to do a little bit of more touch-up work here to get it just the way I want it before we bring road bond in. are coming along on this project. Adam did a fantastical job. This is his first pad that he has done. It is about as good as you could ask for. We're gonna have a little fire pit in the middle. We've got a little bit of finish grading around the outside to do yet. I'm gonna let this dry overnight. Let it keep on drying out. You can see this red clay, it's like a brick, but once it dries out, it'll fall apart. Now walking down from that pad, Adams did an awesome job of cutting this little driveway in. We're not going to do a ditch on the upper side. There's really not a whole lot of water to collect. I am going to take the box blade on the tractor. I'm going to angle it down so any water that does hit this road will skirt along this edge and run out and down that way, the way we originally had water running. I think it's going to turn out really nice. on it? Actually, no, I've done a lot worse than that.
I think it's real good. Looks kind of like a motocross track.
Well, you know, we can remedy this. Right there.
Yes, we can.
All right, folks, that's the end of day number 2. Adam's done a fantastic job, sir. Cutting his teeth on this grading and getting everything out. We got this little driveway cut. We got that pad done. We got about 8 more tons to put out through here. We sloped the road in a little bit so any water coming down off the hill can hit here. And then by the time we put, I guess, about 6 inches of road bond down, there'll be a little bit of in a way a ditch line for water. One little water's going to come down and run off and go out the end. Hopefully we don't have any more water cutting the parking path. That was poor planning on my part.
Not your finest work.
No, definitely not. But we will hopefully make it right this time. Thanks for joining us, guys. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to help the Hillbilly out. We will see y'all tomorrow.